Well, hello and welcome to another episode of The Card Show. After last week's one where I was talking about card shops, and I see the new third down trading card shops that open up, and other card shops that have opened up last year or two around the country. I'm going to go into card shows because of this weekend, as of recording this, it's been a bumper filled, we say, a very filled, I'm assuming fun filled as well, a weekend of card shows. And obviously with the I say was it just controversy? I don't know. With everyone's opinion over the last, especially 6 months or so, of too many card shows, maybe, or this, that, the other. I know. And I did put a little post out saying, what a great weekend it is for the UK's card scene and the hobby scene in general. Um, we had three big shows on the same day yesterday. As the recording, so it's Saturday. So you had down south at Southampton. So if you were down south, Southampton area, London, etc., it's not a million miles away. It doesn't take more than a couple hours to get to. Especially if you've got the train journeys, etc. It's quite easy. Southampton had a show in a hotel also. You could get the night before. They there. I think a lot of people were there prior as well. They rolled down to the lobby and enjoy a card show. So that was. I think it's the Southampton third one, maybe. I'll just double check that one. I'm pretty sure it's the third one. Held by Card Sales. Some people may know him as Martin as well. Really nice guy. I think he's featured in a few of my videos. I definitely recorded him with Dan. But yeah, really nice guy. I should actually get him on the pod. He has been on Totally Podcast a couple of times, who just celebrated 10,000 listens, which is crazy. So congrats to them. But back to Martin and Card Sales and Southampton Card Show. So yeah, so you obviously down south, you have that sort of mega show there, which is, it was a sports cards only show. I believe it wasn't like super strict. Like if you had 80% sports, another like a little 10% of maybe the Marvel stuff, for instance, that just come out everyone sort of after, or other stuff. I think it would have would slide, but it was just more of a, this is the sports cars people. So if you're going there expecting a bunch of TCG and pushes, you're not going to get it, sort of thing. So you had that down south. Then in Wales, we had the Cardiff Card Show. I believe I think it was a 2-day as well. That's still going on today. But yeah, again, for Wales, for people who maybe live a bit closer, it's easier for them to get to Cardiff than it is to get to Southampton, maybe shorter journey times, etc. You had the Cardiff Card Show. Obviously, what Gal's been doing up and down the country shows. You obviously try to make sure that every area is sort of covered and sort of grow these communities in them areas. I mean, like I said, we've got Martin doing it in Southampton. Obviously, Gav does one in Bristol as well as the Cardiff ones. He also helps out with the Essex one, I believe. So it's good to make sure these little communities and areas are sort of covered each weekend, because I'll get onto it in a minute. But yeah, so Wales was sorted, and I suppose you could sort of say the Northwest as well, because we also had the Northwest Card Show in Liverpool. So again, if you're coming from Newcastle, even Scotland, it may be a lot more viable for you to go 3 or 4 hours on a train to Liverpool than it would be to Southampton, for instance. So, looking at the UK, Great Britain, which we class as, it wasn't bad, especially on the size of the show as well. I think you always sort of card fairs going on and all this sort of stuff, and even card books. You can finally, sometimes find some gems. But I have sort of 3 big shows. I said Liverpool, the Northwest one, is a big exhibition centre. Cardiff one was at the Principality Football Stadium, I believe, and then obviously Southampton in a hotel. So 3 rather big shows dotted around the country in the same day. I think I don't remember seeing all the everyone's amount of tickets are sold, but I know Northwest said they sold 1,500 for Saturday, one day event. I don't think Cardiff have announced how many tickets they sold, but they always sell well. Doesn't surprise me if they sold out. And the same with Martin. I think he sold over 1,000 as well. So it's again, it just really does show that all this talk of too many shows, I get where people come from, and but you've got to think about the growth of the hobby, and obviously the sort of economy we're in. Said if you're coming from, if I'm in Manchester and it's only Southampton for me, it's £100+ on a train. I think it's like 4 hours to Southampton as well. So if that was my only option, it probably means I would go to it. And then obviously if I go on the Friday, stay over for the Saturday, and then with the events that go on afterwards, you want to sort of leave or do you want to stay for that? So also it's 2 nights in a hotel, train back. So you could be looking at £100 plus return ticket, maybe a bit more. Again, another 100 or so into the hotel. So it's one of them where it's good to have things around. Because I don't think they all need to be as big as they were, which is good that they were. But I think if there'd been a show up if the Newcastle show had been on that weekend as well, you're looking at then sort of the spine of the UK there is kind of very well sorted. With Newcastle, so everyone up north has got one close to that vicinity, northwest, Wales, and down south. So yeah, I think it's a good sign, especially that they all did well. I get it with people talking about vendors. It does put vendors at a stretch. Is there enough vendors to supply? But I think it was a very good mix of sports cards only down south, and then Gav being mixed, and then obviously Northwest with Sean there being mixed as well. So you sort of, if you're TCG, you've got 2 options, sort of Wales and Northwest. If you're sports and you are up north, you then got numerous options of. I got them 3. If you're sports only down south, you probably say, listen, I've got Southampton around the corner. That's where I'm going to go. So it does help that way as well for vendors. But I think it's interesting. Also, we had the whole not enough support for Sports Card Social. That ended up obviously being like most shows where the last few weeks everyone kicked in and it went on, and now they're already doing the next one. I think it's March next year. So it goes to show that the scene is very much there. The community very much there. I just don't think they immediately buy tickets. And if you release tickets 6 months in advance, people will be thinking about the show they've got that month or that week, for instance, because there is that many shows. So maybe if people are hosting for the first time or whatever, don't be worried if you've not sold out or sold a lot of tickets with 2 or 3 weeks to go, because people are probably just trying to catch up finances. You got to think of where they are. We said you've got pretty much in October now, right? So yeah, you got to think what shows we've got coming up. People probably got money tied into London, probably the biggest one. It's a weekend. It's something never cheap going to and staying in London or that area. Especially because we're being Surrey way, which is even more expensive, believe it or not. So you've got to think about these sort of things. People have a lot of money sort of tied up, and they probably just wait till they sort of catch up with themselves with and stuff like that. So don't worry is what my advice would be. The scene is obviously in a very good and healthy place. You've got to look at what we've said. We've got shops popping up. Top's doing Rip Nights. Obviously the first one at Kaboom. Hopefully that goes around the country as well. It'd be good to see when there was a show as well. Not like the shows that do trade nights to do with Tops Ripped as well. So just make it night gone even longer. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, and also as well, not to miss out. That's just a Saturday, by the way. And then on a Sunday there is another mixed card show up in London. It's the first of their kind. It's I can't remember the actual name of the card show. Like Cards Convention. Yeah, I didn't pay overly attention. I was busy with other things, but that was at London Box Park. That's just on Sunday only, which is kind of interesting. And I don't think of card fairs usually on London, Sundays. But yeah, not many card shows are Sundays only. So that's kind of interesting. What I would say is keep an eye on Sports Card UK socials, as he was at Southampton on Saturday and he was at Box Park. Or is at Box Park today, a Sunday. So I'm sure he'll have content of 2 shows in 48 hours, and he'll be putting stuff out. So make sure you're over there following that. Obviously, I did not go to any of the shows, not even the Northwest one, just because my life is a bit crazy at the moment, a bit hectic. So yeah, this is my hobby time, my downtime. My hobby time is just putting out a bit of content, whether it's the pod or whether it's on the lookout. We're looking at data and any little bits here and there I do, and the rest of it is spent on watching collegiate football, NFL, and other sports, and then just make sure I'm in tune with prospecting. But yeah, so I'm not sure as much. Hence why no blogs this year. I've not seen any vlogs I've done. I don't think. Yeah, not any. I'd have been to half a show. I nipped into one show one time, and I've done a card fair. To be fair, local card fair, but that's it. But yeah, so again, London Box Park. I believe it's the guys behind Crep City, so people who are into sort of the fashion and streetwear stuff and trainers. They host their event there annually there in London. They've done a few up in Manchester as well, and I believe Scotland. Don't say Glasgow, but don't quote me on that. So yeah, they're hosting their first sort of card collectibles Frare. whatever. English isn't my first language. So yeah, I think that's a very very good sign as well that other what was class them as other social events, teams, etc. looking at the growth of this and then trying to come in as well. And again, they'll have a wealth of experience from doing what they've been doing for the last few years. From what I've seen of again, Sports Card UK socials, it was good food down there, a packed out place as well, and they said good music as well. So that would be interesting with his content. 'Cause I know you had an issue before with replacing off DJs, and obviously because you don't want to get copyright banned, well restrictions. So yeah, that'd be interesting. But I think box parties are again not being a Londoner, but I've been to Wembley a few times as a City fan, and obviously with the NFL, it does have decent links. So I'm presuming people on that got there quite easily. Be interesting for vendors because I don't know what parking's like. I think there's a car park around there. I think it's always park at Wembley, can't you? Must be some sort of joint on parking maybe. But yeah, it's a decent location. It looks like a good size, not like a massive venue, but like a good size. So it'd be interesting to see what they do in the future as well to add on to more of these card shows. But yeah, what's your thoughts? I mean, obviously it's been one of them weird years. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I always do. Do you think the sort of what is it the middle of the year sort of area where the April, May, June, everyone sort of a lot of there's too many shows, there's too many hosts, there's too many this, they pop up every week. Is there too many? Do you prefer it this way? Would you like shows every week up and down the country? Again, they don't have to be big. You can have shows with 10 to 20 vendors. That's all you need. It doesn't have to be a big place. Card fairs have been that way for years. And they survived. I said as you saw my last sort of one a few months ago. There was two vendors there, I think, if I remember correctly. But again, they brought thousands. Obviously, it's like different, but you can still spend a lot of time as long as there's enough products there. So yeah, would you prefer smaller shows up and down the country weekend so it's more close to you and sort of grow those local communities and and help grow the hobby as well in hand in hand there? Or would you like just sort of the big shows, just have like we've got London is obviously the biggest in Europe, one of the biggest in the world now. With the amount of people they get through and the amount of stuff that goes on there, would you just prefer to have that every couple of months? Like I think it's every 3 months at the moment. It was like every, I think it's 3 months, right? So we'd like every 3 months and maybe like local shows, in the meantime. So you get a local show each month and then, shows. Yeah. So then you can do European, I suppose. So you sort of like got a decent 3 month stretch where you can do a local show, get paid, free up your money, maybe do a European one. Maybe the Ireland as well. Don't forget, they're doing a few shows now, especially with Dublin. I don't know what's happened to the Amsterdam card show. I hope that goes ahead because that'll be a good weekend. I see Germany has shows quite a lot. They're really doing well over there. No, it's Norway. It's definitely a Nordic card show. I'm gonna say Norway, but don't quote me on that one. Switzerland as well. Spain, I believe, have a couple. I think it's an Ibiza card show. There's one currently going on at the moment as well. I think there's 2 days in Valencia, maybe. So yeah, that'd be kind of cool. And then I'll see the big one in London as a third month. It's interesting. It's interesting. I kind of like it how it is. I do get it from a lot of people. I think a lot of people do want the sort of the growth for their own. I get it because their business want the growth. So there's sort of, there's too many shows. It means I can't really grow it like I want to grow. But I think we're seeing now this pie is big enough for everyone to get a slice because it is growing. Tops are obviously doing a lot to try and grow it. Businesses are doing a lot to grow it, opening shops, giving people a little hub to go to. I hope they do. All these shops do a lot more sort of trade night sort of events and even like learn to play games, whether it's learn to play Lorcana, Pokemon, Digimon, etc. I think it just helps grow. And again, kids are into that sort of stuff now, maybe into sports 1 year down the line, 3 year down the line. So if they go somewhere, they can constantly see those sort of things, straight where to go back, right? And that's a big thing we got a couple of years back when, a lot of people got back into it during the COVID boom. They would go to the sort of local shops and buy, cards. They came back and all of a sudden it was 30, 40 new sets you never heard of, and they just didn't know where to start. So when you've got a local hub like the shops where you've seen these products day in, day out, or week in, week out, whenever you're going, you can sort of learn and pick up little bits. Instead, when you go back to it, or when you go into a new avenue of sports hobby or TCG hobby, you're going to sort of be comfortable speaking to some people in general because you've been with them for years, and two, you probably would have picked up little bits from being around them so much. So that's always a massive plus. But yeah, it's very interesting. But I think we're in a very good. I think we're in a very good, healthy position. I think 90s collector, aka Jake, did put up a little post in a little questionnaire poll. There we go. He was asking, what do people think of the hobby this year? Is it healthy, just as it was last year, or on a decline? And I think the majority was it was better than it was last year, and in a healthier position. And I think he did say himself, he commented saying it seems to be in a lot better position. Even though economy wise, obviously we're a lot worse than we were in COVID. We seem to be in a position where a lot more people seem to be coming in and staying in. I think the last year and a half, 2 years, it was a bit weird of a lot of people coming in, dipping, and you start an Instagram account, you'd follow someone, and all of a sudden you'll see a few posts, and then that's it, they die off. Or you see people at shows and you don't see them again, and it's like, oh, I've been telling people, oh, we just left the hobby. We had it with the people that ran the Wolverhampton card show, one of the first card shows, like properly. They obviously just believe they're not in the hobby anymore, which is kind of crazy. And it's a shame, but again, it's life. It's a hobby in the day, so you probably are going to dip in and dip out. I think a lot of people get, I'll say, caught up, because it sounds kind of bad, but sort of dragged in. What's the word I'm for? What's a nice, polite word of way of saying it? I can't say caught up. Don't take any offense, but you get sort of caught up in all this sort of hobby, and I spoke to him and this, that, the other, and also not in it, and it's fine for people to come and go. It's fine for people to do this, that, the other. It's what we've got to do is make sure that when they do come in, they're not just getting caught up with bad or wrong information, so they're just flirting money on random stuff, right? It's not the way to connect the hobby, is having people come in and leave straight away. Retention is always better than getting new people, right? So giving people information and helping people out where we can, whether that's on what products to buy, what products to invest in, etc. That sort of stuff. It's very difficult, but we know that if you're breaking, it's a gamble. If you're buying a box, it's a gamble sort of thing. We know that with certain things like buying an actual card you want, if it's for an investment purpose, is data out there. You can say, when basketball's not on TV, prices are down. People have maybe cards that they just want to get rid of, so the prices are down. They're not really thinking about basketball, thinking about maybe NFL, thinking about soccer, other sports. So there's opportunities there, especially if you see the data from the year before, where you say, well, it was the same last year, but it picked up in November, it picked up in January, for instance. These them sort of data that can help you make money. There's also always prospecting, the whole where there's a bump, where there's a high, where there's low, and you can look at data for that sort of stuff. And again, you could buy products and do that with products. Well, you can see the same with products where everyone, if you look at breakers, you'll see 99, maybe 95. I don't know. I'll be generous. 95% of breakers want to be first one to break everything. It's got to be the new product. I'm breaking it first. And then you get that 5% that are breaking all the products. So there's still a market where people are still, and you go to their stream, it's still round full of 100+ people, if not more, because it's a bit unique, right? And sometimes there's that massive chase of a rookie that, instead of the rookie that you sort of prospecting, it's a rookie now that's come good as well and done consistently well for a couple of years. I mean, imagine if they were doing, I'll say National Treasure is a bit expensive, but like an Optic 2017 Optic NFL break. You think about the rookies in there. Obviously, Deshaun Watson not really panned out, but the Mahomes chase, that sort of stuff. It's obviously a big excitement, right? It's going to command a decent amount of money, especially with the price of the Optic Color PSA 10 at the moment of Mahomes. So there's always that aspect of it as well. I think it's one of the way the hobby's sort of gone. There's a lot of investment. There's a lot of, okay, if I'm putting money into this, even though I'm collecting it, I still want to make sure I'm not just spending £100 on a base scorecard just for the sake of it being whoever it is. This you can still collect and not be an investor, but still want to make sure that your collection is investable still, if that makes sense. You don't want to be just throwing me down the drain, right? I get it. Some people will spend, £5 after card doing it before, or spend a daft amount on a card just because, and it may not be the best card, it may not be the biggest investment, and I may struggle to make 70-60% of the money back on that card, but it was a card that I wanted. It was a numbered Mahomes card, and that was it. So it fit into what I'm collecting, and that's all that matters. And yes, if worst case scenario comes and I have to sell up all my cards, for instance, I know that I'm going to have some sort of value back, right? And that's sort of one of the things you always want in anything you buy, right? You want to make sure that this, if touch wood, it doesn't happen, but worst case scenario comes, you have something to fall back on to at least have some sort of cash to bail you out of any sort of bad situation you may get in. But yeah, that's just my food for thought on that one. I may be completely off. You may think, no, I don't really care. I don't really care if I spend all my money on these cards, and if worst case scenario comes, I can't sell them for anything. But we want to make sure that people sort of safeguard it, because again, there's a lot of people that will tell you a lot of nonsense, and usually it's to fit their agenda of to buy instead of breaks or to buy a certain player they've tried to dump at the moment, etc. So there's a lot of data tools. Obviously, 130 point now have an app as well that makes it even easier. You've got stuff like Market Movers. Again, use the code Mahomes. 14-day free trial, 20% off for life on any package you choose. And again, that will show you data from not only just single cards, but also wax products as well, full products. So, and that's across sports and TCG. But again, it's a good way of doing it, especially for investment. But also, if you are collecting, you can use the data to find sort of the best time maybe to buy a car for your collection. Especially if you're a big Mahomes fan, you probably want to go buy after March, April time when NFL's done and finished and no one's really watching it no more. I know, I'll keep going back to Mahomes. It's kind of bad, but you get the gist, right? There's this scales to these things. You can monitor things like this. There's these markers, these points, these hype cycles, etc. But yeah, I'm happy about the season at the moment. Last episode, all about the shots, and we talked about that, and had quite a few messages, and maybe people going down there. So make sure you do go down, especially the third down. Get your little Polaroid picture taken. You would have seen it on the vlog as well, and I've already had a comment saying someone put theirs next to mine, so that's kind of cool. It was one of the Mason brothers, Alex Mason, so shout out to him. But yeah, and go and support these shops, and you don't have to go there and spend hundreds of pounds. Don't feel obliged to. They won't expect you to. They're built there for numerous reasons. They'll have these pound boxes. You can go through these boxes, say for hours, and maybe pick up like 3 or 4 cards. It's about relationships. They want you to feel comfortable. They want you to feel comfortable, so you can go there all the time, go through, find stuff, finish your sets off. Again, there's hundreds of thousands of base cards and all sorts. You're going to go there and really enjoy yourself and really just be in somewhere with like-minded people, an ability to pick up stuff that you personally want, and you never know what sort of gems you may find as well. And again, now we're having the shows where shows are exactly the same. Yes, they're obviously can be more expensive to sort of go to and stay at, etc. But you're going to see so much stuff, meet so many like-minded people, especially if it's London Card Show where it's the show on Saturday. People go out on the Friday night. Like I'm always down there Fridays. There's always good meetups there, sort of unofficial sort of trade night sort of meets. So that way you can go there with an inventory on Friday, end up trading, buying, selling half inventory done, and having a whole new sort of showcase for the Saturday. That you're attending to sort of showcase off, and then then you have everything you buy, sell, trade on Saturday. Then you have the sort of food after, sort of after the show. Usually people go to like a beer garden, drink, eat. Not so much deals, but some people will do a few little things, and then it's back for a trade night at the London Card Show. Then you finally get a bit of rest, and then guess what you do all again Sunday morning, and your inventory's changed 15 times. From the trade your unofficial sort of trade meet up, and then the actual day, and then the trade night, and then Sunday morning, and yeah, it's crazy. You head back Sunday, you're thinking, wow, I've gone from this to this to this to this to this. Crazy, 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 crazy. And you think about the original card that started it. I traded this for this, I got this for that, and yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy, but definitely enjoyable time. I do miss him. I do miss him. So I think we're in a good space. That's what I'm going to finish off with there. I'm going to in a good space. I think which is really good. Really happy that these shows up and down the country. Whether people agree or disagree, that's fine. I'm looking forward to London. I'm hoping to London. Obviously, it's November the 2nd and 3rd, first and second, first weekend in November. I don't like missing many shows. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, I don't like missing the London Card Show. I've really missed a lot of people there. Not just people I'm sat with at tables and people that come and interact with us, but also that the host and the team. They're always really nice, really polite. Whether it's Harry's parents or Harry himself and his family, just really nice. So it's always like just a very nice, relaxing, great environment to be in. So shout out to them. I have missed. I said the whole year of shows. So it's kind of difficult. It's been kind of difficult, but again, the way it's been working for myself of just buying, raw, grading, selling, sort of adding that value. For the years, it's done me well financially, and it's been obviously better that way. But you do miss sort of the social aspects because obviously you don't want to be just sat here. Well, that's how there we go. Playing the piano, looking on eBay, looking at cards, and then selling them on. Be a little hermit. So it's good to get out, get to shows, and also you'll see a lot of stuff that people don't want to sell on eBay, or have it on other platforms, not on eBay, for instance. So card hobby is a big one. Even Fanatics and all sorts of stuff. So that's always that aspect as well, seeing cards that you may not, and also getting stuff that's maybe a bit cheaper because someone doesn't know, and obviously people aren't losing out to eBay fees, so you might be able to get a better price there as well. So there's always plays to be made if that's what you're into. Obviously, myself, I'm a bit of both. I love to collect what I collect, and I will try and invest in some things to get some money so I can get the cards I want to collect. It's easy that way, right? It's easier. But yeah, what a time to be alive. Also, I'm going to finish on this little note. Sully Sports Cards is teasing, because as a recording this, he's not released it. He's teasing that he's releasing his first video. Sully's Sports Cards on YouTube, also on Instagram. I think it's pretty much the same name. You'll see the yellow and black. I think the Manchester B as well. So he's releasing his first video. You would have heard him on or seen him live watch on Spotify, the European Vintage Discord and their podcast with JW7, I believe. So yeah, he's doing his own video. I think he's still doing his pods and stuff like that, but he's doing his own sort of stuff, which is gonna be cool. I'd recommend, because he has a wealth of knowledge. So I'd recommend you try and jump over there, give him a subscribe, and check it out and see what you think. Again, make sure your eyes on Sports Card UK's socials if you're interested in how the Southampton Card Show and the one in Box Park, London, Cards.Collect, whatever it's called, because I'm sure he'll have quite a lot of content from them 2 days. So yes, make sure you're tuned into them too. But other than that, that is it for me this week. I will be back on Friday with On the Lookout. And yes, I do hear your feedback on data. I know sometimes it's a bit data focused, and sometimes I will chuck in the plays, obviously, of using GemRate, and you can sort of see that sort of stuff. It's obviously it's difficult, obviously, of doing stuff like that. It's, I don't know, if you just look at the market, obviously Victor's so big. It's just getting into data. He's always updating constantly because the Chrome is very new. So the more they get put through PSA, etc., we'll have a better percentage and understanding of how many of them, gem, how many come back as nines, and then you can get more of a analytics that way. If we've got 10,000 that go through and 8,000 go through as 10s and 2,000 go through as 9s, then it gives us a very good percentage to getting 10. So we know that if we can buy raw at X price and it comes back as a 10, we know how much money we can make. there's other things I can be doing, but not just that sort of stuff. It's just because, again, if you have been watching On the Lookout, you'll see that consistently for the last few months on the highest amount of cards sold. It's Victor, his Chrome, his Prism base, which is surprising because it's not something you always tell people to invest in, because obviously it's so abundant. Even the PSA 10 of the base is at 20,000 now, 19,000. PSA Prism, the PSA 10 Prism base. But it's a very liquid card. People want to have, potentially a generational talents sort of rookie card, especially in a 10. I can't remember what I was going to say now, but yeah, I think CJ Stroud's up there as well. It's one of them, a lot of rookie prospecting sort of stuff. So, I don't say it's going to change too much. I do like putting out the data because, again, it gives you, a lot of what is. We go through what cards are the biggest profit. If that makes sense, the highest, is it highest selling? If that makes sense, like the cards that have gone up the most. If a card's gone from 1,000 to 10,000, but we go for that sort of stuff. And then the biggest losers, we had a big one the other week, which was the Kevin Durant. I think it was down like 10 grand or something. I thought maybe more, which was crazy. And then also we go through what actual single card is selling the most, like what is the biggest transaction card. And again, Victor Wembanyama has been dominating that section. His Chrome and his Prism, crazy amounts. I can't remember that number now. But yeah, they were selling obviously massively. I think it's close to like 100 a day. So yeah, which is crazy to think. But no, I really appreciate it as always. Appreciate you guys listening this far. Appreciate you guys every like, comment, etc., and everything, and every DM I get. But yes, I will see you guys soon. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy yourselves. And yeah, peace.